So if you're a romance or slice of life anime fan, I know man, trust. It's been a rough couple of years. Rom-coms and slice of life lately have become very generic and boring. Still watchable for sure, but nothing that you'll remember in a couple of months. But Call of the Night, it's just great. I knew nothing about the manga when I watched the first episode, and damn is it amazing. I am currently on episode 6 and I've seen 2 things that make this show stand out from the rest, and that hopefully more stories try to implement this. So let's take a look at Call of the Night. I think we can safely categorize Call of the Night as a rom-com and supernatural fiction anime. And I must admit that in the first minutes of the first episode, I thought it was gonna be another high school romance story with some vampire stuff in between.
Nope.
But nope. This anime does what 99% of the rest didn't, which is take the damn high school away from the story and focus on somewhere else. I really don't know what's up with rom-coms that most of the stories focus in high school. I mean, there has to be a scientific explanation of that, other than it being relatable or cheaper to produce. But I'm totally down for this fresh take on romance that focuses on the nightlife in a city that feels more alive than your typical anime. I will dare to say that the city at night feels like a character on its own. And props to Leiden Films for the wonderful animation and stunning visuals that are kind of breathtaking. And it's not that high school is completely out of the picture. It's mentioned here and there, but it doesn't play a fundamental role in your character's story. I had a big sigh of relief knowing that probably I won't be going through another cultural event, sports competition, school trip, bonfire, and all that generic stuff. The story takes place in a city that, although it's mostly empty, it feels alive, and the couple of characters that are sprinkled in between feel logical. You can see that happening in any city at nighttime. And it does a fantastic job of capturing this sensation of peace and tranquility that the night brings. That probably is more relatable to older audiences because, as we know, the day can be a complete mayhem, and when we finally reach the night, it's a more calmed, relaxed environment, unless you live in a dangerous neighborhood. Summer 22 has a lot of different animes. Very few are great, mostly others are just meh. And there's a couple of garbage here and there, but I would say that Call of the Night is in those top spots. I have not watched Overlord yet, but from the ones I'm watching, this one is pretty solid. And mostly because it's a very conscious story. And what I mean by that is that it's not trying too hard to beat the rest. It's not trying to give you the most dramatic story, the waifu of the year, or the best visuals. It's an anime that knows that its main strengths are its characters, and they do a fantastic job with their main character's storyline, as well as carefully introducing new characters here and there into the mix that feel impactful to the overall story. They're not there just to provide volume or fan service. And while I argue that character development, setting, and stories are the anime's strongest points, it has fantastic visuals. It provides a great original female character that it's interesting but doesn't feel like someone you've met or seen before. And our main male lead does have a couple of generic traits like being a loner, awkward, and no social interaction whatsoever. But in this situation, it helps the story and his character move forward. It serves a purpose and is not there just to make the audience feel bad about him, because we've seen that many times. I would say that Call of the Night takes some generic points that work in romance, but then they implement them in their own world and story that makes sense and serves a purpose. And for those wondering, yeah, it has some very graceful fan service here and there that everyone appreciates.
Damn, boy, he's thick, boy!
And while the show is not over, I can only see this getting better and better with hopefully multiple seasons. From the little I've seen of the manga, it seems like we're getting a lot of new characters and more complex storylines that should be quite fun and intriguing. This is an example of what other rom-com animes should aim for. An original setting and a more supernatural or interesting storyline with very strong characters that is not tryharding to be the rest, but just be great in its own. If you haven't watched it, I heavily recommend it. It's funny, wholesome, and very interesting, with great characters, beautiful animation, and an amazing setting. So comment down below what you think about Call of the Night. And as always, thanks for watching.